There's something about a funeral that brings out the worst in people. The body's barely cold and suddenly everyone's doing math in their heads. Who gets what? How much is that worth? Did mom really mean to leave me less? Today we're opening 3 case files from the archive. 3 families, 3 vultures, and 3 absolutely devastating takedowns. In one, an aunt tries to walk out with a television while the body is still in the house. In another, a brother produces a last will and testament, written in crayon, on a napkin, and he takes it to court. But the final story? A sister demands her brother hand over the family home. And he does. He gives her exactly what she asked for. She just didn't expect to open the door and find nothing. No wiring, no appliances, no fixtures, just drywall and silence. She got the house. She got exactly the house. Greed is a disease. And today, we're watching it eat 3 people alive. Let's begin.
So my dad passed away about 3 weeks ago. Lung cancer. He'd been fighting it for about 8 months, and honestly, we knew it was coming. Doesn't make it easier, but at least we had time to say what needed to be said. The funeral was small. Dad wasn't a flashy guy. He was a retired electrician from Toledo, lived in the same house for 32 years. Left behind me, my mom, my younger sister Caitlin, and then his side of the family, including his sister, my Aunt Donna. Now, here's the thing about Aunt Donna. She's the type of person who asks how much your car cost within 5 minutes of seeing it. She once told my mom at Thanksgiving dinner that the gravy was a little thin. She's just that person. But I never thought she'd do what she did. So after the funeral, we all go back to my parents' house. My mom is exhausted, obviously. She's sitting in the kitchen with some of the older relatives. I'm in the living room talking to my cousin Mike, and I notice Aunt Donna is missing. Mike goes, she probably went to the bathroom. Cool. Whatever. About 10 minutes later, I walk down the hall to grab a water bottle from the garage fridge, and I hear this sound. Like metal scraping. I look into the den. And there's Aunt Donna. With a screwdriver. Unscrewing my dad's 65-inch Samsung off the wall mount. I'm not exaggerating. The man had been in the ground for less than 4 hours. I just stood there for a second because my brain genuinely couldn't process what I was seeing. And she looks up at me, doesn't even flinch, and goes, "Oh, your father said I could have this." I said, "He said that?" She goes, "Yes. At Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. 2 years ago. Before he was even sick." She's claiming my dying father, who, by the way, loved that TV, watched every Browns game on it, just casually promised it to her at Thanksgiving. I told her, "Donna, put the screwdriver down and get back to the kitchen." She didn't move. Just stared at me and said, "This is between me and your mother." So I walked to the kitchen. I told my mom what was happening. And my mom, bless her, was too tired to even react. She just said, "I can't deal with this today." Fair enough. So I dealt with it. I walked back to the den, and Aunt Donna had the TV off the wall now, laying it on the couch. I said, "Donna, I'm going to ask you one more time. Put the TV back." She laughed. Actually laughed. And said, "Or what?" So I pulled out my phone. Dialed 911. Right in front of her. Told the dispatcher, "I need to report a theft in progress. My aunt is trying to steal property from my deceased father's home." Donna's face went white. She started stammering, "You're not serious. This is family." I said, "Then act like it." Cops showed up in about 12 minutes. 2 officers. I explained the situation. Showed them that my mom was the sole owner of the property now. Showed them that no one had given Donna permission to take anything. Donna tried to do the whole "this is a misunderstanding" thing. Kept saying she had a verbal agreement. The cop looked at her and said, "Ma'am, do you have that in writing?" She didn't. They made her leave. Didn't arrest her, but they made it very clear she was not welcome back on the property and that if anything went missing, she'd be the first person they'd talk to. She screamed at me from the driveway. Called me a disgrace to the family. Said my dad would be ashamed. I closed the door. Haven't spoken to her since. And you know what? My dad would be ashamed. Just not of me.
The thing about Aunt Donna is, she's a symptom. A common one. See, most inheritance vultures operate on a simple principle: speed. They figure if they move fast enough, no one will stop them. Grief is a fog, and they're counting on everyone being too tired to notice. That nephew noticed. But our next story? This vulture wasn't interested in speed. He wanted something bigger. He wanted to rewrite history. And he had the documentation to prove it. Well, a documentation. Let's just say the courtroom had a very different reaction than he expected.
My dad passed away in March of last year. He was 74. Heart attack. It was sudden. He was playing golf on a Tuesday and gone by Thursday. He left behind me, my younger sister Rachel, and my older brother Kevin. Now, Kevin and my dad had a complicated relationship. Kevin was the firstborn, the golden child, all that. But somewhere in his 30s, things went sideways. He got into some money trouble, made some bad investments, asked my dad for a loan, a big one, like $80,000, and my dad said no. Kevin didn't take it well. They basically stopped talking. So when my dad died, Kevin showed up to the funeral, but it was awkward. He kept to himself. Didn't cry. Just kind of observed. Then we had the will reading. My dad had a real will. A proper one. Drafted by an estate attorney. Witnessed. Notarized. The whole thing. The estate was worth about $1.2 million total. The house. Some investments. A life insurance policy. It was split evenly. A third to me. A third to Rachel. A third to Kevin. I thought Kevin would be happy. A third of $1.2 million is $400,000. That's not nothing. But Kevin had other plans. About a week after the reading, Kevin called me. Said he had found something. Something that changed everything. He said he had our father's real will. I asked him what he meant. He said the will we read was outdated and that he had a newer one. One that left everything to him. I said, "Kevin, where did you find this?" He said, "In Dad's desk." I said, "The lawyers already went through Dad's desk." He got quiet. Then he said, "Well, they missed it." Kevin filed a challenge to the will, took it to probate court, said he had a more recent document that superseded the one on file. The court date was set for June. I hired my own attorney. Rachel hired hers. Kevin represented himself. And then Kevin presented his will. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. It was written on a napkin, a Denny's napkin, the yellow kind, and it was written in crayon. It said, and I'm quoting from memory here, "I, Dad's name, leave all my stuff to Kevin. He is a good boy. Signed, Dad." That was it. That was the whole thing. No date. No witnesses. A good boy. The judge looked at Kevin, looked at the napkin, looked back at Kevin, and he laughed. Not like a chuckle. A real, genuine laugh. I've never seen a judge do that. He said, "Mr. Kevin's last name, is this a joke?" "Kevin, and I'll never forget this," Kevin said. "No, Your Honor. That's my father's handwriting." The judge had a handwriting expert look at it. Took about 4 minutes. The expert said the handwriting didn't match any of the samples from my father's known documents. Because, my dad was 74. He hadn't used crayons since approximately 1955. The judge dismissed the challenge. He also ordered Kevin to pay the court costs and both of our legal fees, which came out to around $35,000. Kevin tried to appeal. Got denied. Last I heard, he's living in Nevada now. Rachel and I don't talk to him. We split his third between us, as the court allowed after his challenge was thrown out. I know this sounds crazy. I know it sounds fake. But I promise you, I watched a grown man hand a judge a napkin with crayon writing and say, "This is legal." I can never go to a Denny's again without thinking about it.
A crayon will. On a Denny's napkin. He is a good boy. You almost have to respect the audacity. Almost. Kevin thought he could rewrite reality. He thought if he just believed hard enough, the law would bend. It didn't. But our final story isn't about someone trying to forge a will. This sister? She didn't need to fake anything. She just needed to want more. And she wanted the house. She got it. She got exactly what she asked for.
My mom passed away about 18 months ago. She was 68. Stroke. It was fast, she didn't suffer, which is the only good thing I can say about any of it. She left behind me and my older sister, Danielle. And a house. The house wasn't fancy. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, built in the 70s. It was in a decent neighborhood outside of Pittsburgh. Worth maybe $280,000 on a good day. My mom's will was clear. I got the house. Danielle got the equivalent value in cash from the rest of the estate, stocks, savings, life insurance. It worked out to about $275,000 for her. Fair, right? Danielle didn't think so. See, Danielle had always wanted that house. Not because she needed it. Not because she grew up there, I grew up there, she moved out when she was 18. But because she wanted it. That's it. That's the whole reason. When the will was read, she lost it. Screamed at the attorney. Said my mom wasn't in her right mind. Said I must have manipulated her. I tried to explain that I'd been the one taking care of mom for the last 5 years. I was the one who drove her to doctor's appointments. I was the one who moved back in when she got sick. Danielle visited maybe twice a year. Didn't matter. She wanted the house. Over the next 6 months, she made my life hell. She threatened to sue. She called me every name you can imagine. She got other relatives involved, aunts, uncles, people I hadn't talked to in years, all calling me, telling me I should do the right thing and give Danielle the house. I said no. For 6 months, I said no. Then I got tired. I know I sound petty, but I'd had enough. The constant calls. The guilt trips. The Facebook posts, oh yeah, she was posting about me on Facebook, calling me a thief and a mama's boy. So I made a decision. I called Danielle and said, fine. You want the house? You can have the house. She was shocked. She actually said, really? I said, really? I'll sign it over to you. Just give me 60 days to move out. She agreed. She was so happy. She was already talking about renovations, about renting it out, about how she'd finally gotten what she deserved. I spent those 60 days very productively. See, I talked to a lawyer. And my lawyer confirmed something very interesting. When you own a house, you own the structure. But anything that's not permanently affixed, anything that can be removed without damaging the structure itself, that's personal property. So I removed it. All of it. I hired a licensed contractor. We pulled out the refrigerator, the stove, the washer and dryer, the dishwasher, every single light fixture, the ceiling fans, the water heater, all the copper wiring, all the copper plumbing, the HVAC unit, the kitchen cabinets, the bathroom vanities, the mirrors, the interior doors. I even took the carpet. The flooring was technically an improvement I had made, so it was mine. By the time I was done, the house was a shell. 4 walls, a roof, and studs. No power. No water. No nothing. I signed the deed over to Danielle. I handed her the keys. She walked in. I was told, by a cousin who was there, that she stood in the living room for about 3 minutes without saying a word. Then she screamed. She called the cops. They came out. She told them I had vandalized the property. The officer asked if I had owned the house when the items were removed. I said yes. He asked if the items were permanently affixed to the structure. I said no. I had documentation from my contractor confirming everything was removable and that no structural damage had occurred. The cop told Danielle there was nothing they could do. It was a civil matter at best. She sued me anyway. The case got thrown out in about 4 months. The judge ruled that I had acted within my legal rights as the property owner. Last I heard, Danielle couldn't afford to make the house livable again. The repairs would have cost more than the house was worth. She tried to sell it, but no one wants to buy a shell. It's been sitting on the market for over a year now. I bought a nice condo in the city with the money I saved. I've got a view of the river. It's quiet. And Danielle? Danielle got the house. Exactly what she asked for.
3 stories. 3 vultures. 3 very different lessons. Aunt Donna learned that grief doesn't mean blindness. Kevin learned that crayons don't hold up in court. And Danielle? Danielle learned the most important lesson of all. Be careful what you wish for. Greed is a strange thing. It makes you forget that other people are playing the game too. It makes you forget that the person you're trying to take from might just be smarter than you. Until next time, keep your hands off what isn't yours.